always have time. You always have time. And as I had to learn, as someone who faced the big C last year, it really starts making you think about what do you want to spend your time on? How do you want to be? And it really teaches you to make the right priorities. Well, I guess I shouldn't say right priorities, right? But you know what I mean. It really makes you prioritize things differently. So yeah, just do the best you can every day. That's all that matters. Because we're not always gonna be, at 100%. And that's okay. It's okay not to be at 100%. Even if you only give 5 or 10% on some days, better than nothing. Welcome in, Marmalade. Welcome in, dear. Welcome to the comfy brood. I'm now your tiefling, dragon, and sometimes vampire mom. Yes, what's your question? If you poke me and run away, I'm gonna refuse to answer it. Hydrate. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you for the hydrate. I should get out my little rubber ball and do ASMR with that, but I don't know where it went. I used to have it in my box. Sapphire. Okay, good to know. Thanks for telling me. I might. I'm not gonna make any promises. It depends. Okay, it depends. It depends on how much energy I have and how late I actually go streaming for. Tonight's stream might be a little bit longer than the previous. We'll see what happens here. was just hungry and what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that happens sometimes, dear. You literally wolfed down your food. It must have been good pizza, though. I love the Motor City frozen pizza. But I have not been able to have it in a couple of months due to some food allergies and say, if you came into my office, I would say, welcome, Renfield. Today is your time today. What would you like to share with me? What do you think would be good for me to know so that I can get to know you better and how to help you better? And that's really what it should. That's what we should shoot for in a way. That's amazing, bird. I hope it went well. I know you've had a lot to do with being in your new place, all that stuff. So I hope it's going well for you. Yes. Alright. We have a hug routine. Let's go. Hugs for my little monsters. There you go. Still not finished. That's okay. That's okay. Stuff can be a work in progress. Yes. More bushes. Oh, goodness. Here, let me grab that out. So I'm not tweaking out here, trying to reach. Yes. Plastic bag crinkles. So anyway, there should be nothing if you're with the right therapist, and that's a big if, there should be nothing that's too big or too small. If you want mommy's opinion, the only time that therapy is wasted is if nothing gets talked about at all, and there's no work that gets done, and there's no opportunity for the client or the therapist to get real about what's going on, right? Because from the therapist's point of view, from mommy's point of view, no matter how small, no matter how silly someone might think your issue is, it's not. If it's big enough to bring up in therapy, that's what we talk about. That's what we do healing work around. And if you are ever around a therapist who value judges what you bring to therapy, guess what? Time to get a new therapist. Not sorry. My day has been excellent. How about you, yours? Say good for you, dear. Which one is what? The ASMR reading? Nah. Well, it's mostly so that if I have little monsters who raid in, for instance, it's mostly just so that if I have people who stop by, then well, I don't know. I mean, technically, I have a menu that they can just request from, but I think I just gotta have it that way, just in case I have little monsters who raid on in here, and I would feel bad if they were like, I can't redeem anything, it's too expensive. So, I'm gonna try to do this lightly. It's a very crisp noise. Now, mind you, I'm being very, very gentle with it. I'm touching it as lightly as possible. And I feel like it's still too loud. Yeah, I think that one might be a bit much tonight. So we'll bring out this one. Nice little small bell noise, maybe. By the way, I don't have my earphones on right now, so I can hear what this sounds like. Oh yeah, little monsters. Mommy's got some nails. There's some small feathers on the end of that. I'm not sure if that's gonna be too loud. I can just gently I wonder, little monsters, are there any kind of stories that you want to ask Mommy about from her life? If she can tell you, her words of wisdom. Okay. Let me see. Let me see, John. What did you ask me? What did you ask me? My chat's being weird. What was I like as a teenager? Okay, now here's the question. Do you want... I think, like... I think this won't surprise you. So, as a teenager, like, very kind, very friendly, but I kept to myself a lot. Just because I had very, like, different interests, you know, so I did a lot of reading and writing and stuff, so I was definitely more on the quiet side, but I do have a bubbly, outgoing side, so I think if I had met many of you little monsters when I was in high school, you would probably see a different side of me. You would probably see somebody who's like playful, a little mischievous and stuff, but because I didn't have like a lot of friends, and because I didn't have a lot of people to share my interest with, I won't say like I was antisocial, but yeah, I was definitely a nerd. And I'm definitely was really into fantasy. I had plans to become a young adult novelist, right? And I still want to do that in my life. And so, actually, because this month is NaNoWriMo, one of the things I was thinking was do some writing and then read you little monsters stuff that I've written, so that it kind of motivates me to write and get back into it, because then I know, oh, my little monsters are waiting, so I better write something for them, you know, because back when I was a teenager, I used to do that for my Papa Tiefling all the time. I used to read to him. And, you know, for various reasons. That doesn't happen as much anymore. But I was thinking that might be a good thing to get back into. More breathing, sure, can do. Ponytail bullshit. Yes. That is magic bullshit. Go. They also tell how Little Red Riding Hood was taking some baked things to her grandmother another time when another wolf spoke to her and wanted her to leave the path. But Red Riding Hood took care and went straight to grandmother's. She told her that she had seen the wolf and that she had wished her a good day, but had stared at her in a wicked manner. If we hadn't been on a public road, he would have eaten me up, she said. Come, said the grandmother, let's lock the door so he can't get in. Soon after, the wolf knocked on the door and called out, Open up, grandmother, it's Little Red Riding Hood. I'm bringing you some baked goods. Too late. They remained silent and did not open the door. The wicked one walked around the house several times and finally jumped onto the roof. Apparently it was a different wolf, I guess. He wanted to wait until Little Red Riding Hood went home that evening. Then follow her and eat her up in the darkness. But grandmother saw what he was up to. There was a large stone trough in the front of the house. Fetch a bucket, Little Red Riding Hood, she said. Yesterday I cooked some sausage. Carry the water that I boiled them with to the trough. Little Red Riding Hood carried the water until the large trough was clearly full. The smell of sausage arose the wolf's nose. He sniffed and looked down, stretching his neck so long that he could no longer hold himself, and he began to slide. He slid off the roof and fell into the trough and drowned. And Little Red Riding Hood returned home happily and safely. I don't know that we needed that little extra bit of stuff, but okay. Okay, the next one we're gonna read is called Roland, and I have no idea what this one is about. I've actually never heard of this one, so we're gonna see what this one's like. There was once a woman who was a witch, and she had 2 daughters, one ugly and wicked, whom she loved the best because she was her very own daughter, and one who was pretty and good, whom she hated because she was her stepdaughter. Oof, wow, okay. One day, the stepdaughter put on a pretty apron, which the other daughter liked so much that she became envious. And she said to her mother that she must and should have that apron. Be content, my child, said the old woman. Thou shalt have it. Thy stepsister has long deserved death. Wow. And tonight, while she is asleep, I shall come and cut off her head. Take care to lie at the farthest side of the bed and push her to the outside. I think we know where this is going, don't we, little monsters? I think we know, don't we? It's the wicked one that's gonna get pushed to the outside. That's how these silly little plots work all the time. And it would have been all over with the poor girl if she had not been standing in the corner and heard it all. Oh my goodness. Little monsters. If you're gonna plot someone's downfall, take note. Make sure that they're not listening when you're plotting. She did not dare go outside the door the whole day long, and when bedtime came and the other one got into bed first so as to lie on the farther side. But when she had gone to sleep, the stepdaughter pushed her toward the outside and took the inside place next to the wall. I told you. In the night, the old woman came sneaking. In her right hand, she held an axe. With her left, she felt for the one who was lying outside, and then she heaved up the axe with both hands and hewed the head off her only daughter. Well, when she had gone away, the other girl got up and went to her sweetheart, who was called Roland, and knocked on the door. When he came to her, she said, "Listen, dear Roland, we must flee in all haste. My stepmother meant to put me to death, but she has killed her only child instead. When the day breaks and she sees what she has done, we are lost." "But I advise you," said Roland, "to bring away her magic wand with you. Otherwise, we cannot escape her when she comes after to overtake us." So the maiden fetched the magic wand. You could say the stepdaughter was ahead of the curve, but nice one. When the maiden fetched the magic wand, and she took up the head of her stepsister and let drop 3 drops of blood on the ground, one by the bed, one in the kitchen, and one on the steps, she then hastened back toward her sweetheart. When the old witch got up in the morning, she called out to her daughter to give her an apron, but no daughter came. Then she cried out, "Where art thou?" "Here, at the steps, sweeping," answered one of the drops of wood. The old woman went out, but she saw no one at the steps and cried again, "Where art thou?" "Here, in the kitchen, warming myself," cried the second drop of blood. So she went to the kitchen and found no one. She cried out again, "Where art thou?" "Oh, here in bed, fast asleep," cried the third drop of blood. Then the mother went to the room and up to the bed, and there lay her only child, whose head she had cut off herself. The witch fell into a great fury, rushed to the window, for from it she could see far and wide, and she caught sight of her stepdaughter hastening away with her dear Roland. "It will be no good to you," cried she. "If you ever get so far away, you cannot escape me." She then put on her boots, which took her an hour's walk at every stride. Magic boots. Boots of haste. It was not long before she had overtaken them, but the maiden, when she saw the old woman striding up, changed by means of the magic wand her dear Roland into a lake, and herself into a duck swimming upon it. Interesting choice. The witch stood on the bank and threw in crumbs of bread, and took great pains to decoy the duck toward her. But the duck would not be decoyed, and the old woman was obliged to go back in the evening disappointed. Okay. I'm surprised she doesn't have, other magic items that she could have used, but oh well. Then the maiden and her dear Roland took again their natural shapes and traveled on the whole night through until daybreak. I would have went with a goose. Or a swan. That would be cool too. Then the maiden changed herself into a beautiful flower, standing in the middle of the hedge thorns, and her dear Roland into a fiddle player. It was not long before the witch came striding up, and she said to the musician, "Dear musician, will you be be so kind as to reach that pretty flower for me?" "Oh, yes," said he, "I will strike up a tune for it." And then, as she crept quickly up behind the hedge to break off the flower, for she knew well who it was, he began to play, and whether she liked it or not, she was obliged to dance. There we go. We have Anna's irresistible dance. She's doing the Macarena. For there was magic in the tune. The faster he played, the higher she had to jump, and the thorns tore her cloak, and scratched and wounded her, and he did not cease playing until she was spent and lay dead. Oh my. Oh, that's one way to go. So now they were saved, and Roland said, "I will go to my father and prepare for the wedding." "And I will stay here," said the maiden, "and wait for you. And so that no one should know me, I will change myself into a red millstone." "Why? Madam, why would you need to do that?" So away went Roland, and the maiden, in the likeness of a stone, waited in the field for her beloved. But when Roland went home, he fell into the snares of another maiden, who wrought so that he forgot his first love, and the poor girl waited for a long time, but at last, seeing that he did not come back for her, she was filled with despair, and changed herself into a flower, thinking, "Perhaps someone in passing will put his foot upon me and crush me." My goodness, this poor dear does not deserve steppies. She does not deserve life to just give her the steppies. Such horrible treatment. But it happened that a shepherd, tending his flock, saw the flower, and as it was so beautiful, he gathered it, took it home with him, and put it in his chest. From that time, everything went wonderfully well in the shepherd's house. When he got up in the morning, all the work was already done. The room was swept, the tables and benches rubbed, the fire kindled on the hearth, and water already drawn. When he came home in the middle of the day, the table was laid, and a good meal spread upon it. He could not understand how it was done, for he never saw anyone in his house, but it was too little for anyone to hide in. The good serving pleased him well, but in the end he became uneasy and went to a wise woman and said, "There is magic in it. Get up early some morning. If you hear something moving in the room, be it what it may, throw a white cloth over it, and the charm will be broken." No, she did not deserve that. What kind of treatment is that? But, I guess a person that's just gonna forget someone like that the minute they have a new love is probably not worth your time anyway. That's just the way it goes, and I think that's the lesson in this one. The shepherd did as she told him, and the next morning at daybreak he saw the chest open and the flower come out. Then he jumped up quickly and threw a white cloth over it. So the spell was broken, and the lovely maiden stood before him. She told him that she had been the flower, and she had, until now, cared for his household matters. She told him all that had happened to her, and she pleased him so much that he asked her to marry him, but she answered no, because she still remained true to her dear Roland, even though he had forsaken her. But she promised not to leave the shepherd, but to go on taking care of his house. Welcome in, welcome in. How are you, dear? We are just doing a little bit of story time Right now, we were doing some triggers, and yes, I am using my 3DO microphone to do some reading with. Now the time came when Roland's wedding was about to be held, and there was an old custom in that country that all the girls should be present and should sing in honor of the bride and groom. The bride and bridegroom. Okay, that's how you're supposed to read that. The faithful maiden, when she knew this, was so sorrowful that she felt as if her heart would break, and she would not go until the others came and fetched her. And when her turn came to sing, she slipped behind so that she stood alone and began to sing. As soon as her song reached Roland's ear, he sprang up and cried, "I know that voice. That is the right bride, and no other I will have." "Excuse you, sir. That's not fair. You just up and abandoned her. Totally forgot about her. And now that she's singing for you, you want a piece of that?" And everything that he had forgotten and that had been swept out of his mind came suddenly home to him in his heart. And the faithful maiden was married to her dear Roland, and her sorrow came to an end, and her joy began. "Excuse me, sir. No. Mommy has an issue with that for a couple of reasons. Number one, who the hell are you to just come back into this person's life? Because you did not even remember them. And, like, if I were that maiden, I would not be marrying that guy. Like, I'm sorry." Is the lesson that men can have their cake and eat it too? No, dear. The lesson is that men are forgetful, and they're sometimes kind of shallow, and that the right man will never forget what you've done for him. And whereas the man that's not the right fit for you will only remember that you exist when it's convenient for him. So, little monsters, keep that in mind, whether you're looking for a partner, female partner, male partner, same-sex partner, whatever. Keep it in mind that the person that you should bother with will remember you no matter what else they've got going on in their face. They will remember you. And if you are too forgettable for a person, that person probably does not need to be in your life, and certainly should not be asking for marriage. I mean, I applaud her for being faithful to him, but then you have to ask, little monsters, was he worthy of that faithfulness? Would anyone be? That's what I'm saying. Hell no. Like, that's just messed up. Okay. The next one we're gonna read is one that I've always wanted to read the actual thing of. Rapunzel. There once lived a man and his wife who had long wished for a child, but in vain. Now there was at the back of their house a little window which overlooked a beautiful garden full of vegetables and flowers. But there was a high wall all around it, and no one ventured into it, for it belonged to a witch of great might, and of whom all the townspeople were afraid. One One day, the wife was standing at the window and looking into the garden, and there she saw a bed filled with the finest rampion. It looked so fresh and green that she began to wish for some. At length she longed greatly for it. This went on for days. As she knew she could not get rampion, she pined away and grew pale and miserable. Then the man was uneasy and asked, "What is the matter, dear wife?" "Oh," answered she, "I shall die unless I can have some of that rampion to eat that grows in the garden at the back of our house." The man, who loved her very much, thought to himself, "Rather than lose my wife, I shall get some rampion, cost what it will." What a good husbando! So in the twilight he climbed over the wall to the witch's garden, plucked hastily, well, that's not good, he's gonna get himself cursed, plucked hastily a handful of rampion and brought it to his wife. She made a salad of it at once and ate of it to her heart's content, but she liked it so much and it tasted so good that the next day she longed for it thrice as much as she had done before. If she was to have any rest, the man must climb over the wall once more. So he went back in the twilight again, and as he was climbing back, he saw all at once the witch standing before him and was terribly frightened, as she cried with angry eyes, "How dare you climb over into my garden like a thief and steal my rampion? It shall be worse for you." "Oh," answered he, "be merciful rather than just. I have only done it out of necessity, for my wife saw your rampion out of the window and became obsessed with so great a longing that she would have died if she could not have some to eat." Then the witch said, "If it is all as you say, you may have as much rampion as you like, on one condition, that the child that will come into the world must be given to me. It shall go well with the child, and I shall care for it like a mother." Interesting. In his distress of mind, the man promised everything. And when the time came when the child was born, the witch appeared, and giving the child the name of Rapunzel, which is the same as the rampion, she took it away with her. Rapunzel was the most beautiful child in the world. When she was 12 years old, the witch shut her up in a tower in the midst of a wood, and it had neither steps nor door, only a small window above. When the witch wished to be let in, she would stand below and would cry, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel had beautiful long hair that shone like gold. When she heard the voice of the witch, she would undo the fastening of the upper window, unbind the plaits of her hair, and let it down 20 ells below, and the witch would climb up by it. After they had lived thus a few years, it happened that the king's son was riding through the wood, and he came to the tower. As he drew near, he heard a voice singing so sweetly that he stood still and listened. It was Rapunzel in her loneliness, trying to pass away the time with sweet songs. The king's son wished to go to her and sought to find the door to the tower, but there was none. So he rode home, but the song had entered into his heart, and every day he went to the wood and listened to it. Once, as he was standing there under a tree, he saw the witch come up and listened while she called out, "Oh, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." He then saw how Rapunzel let down her long tresses, and how the witch climbed up by it and went to her. And he said to himself, Since that is the ladder, I will climb it, and I will seek my fortune. And the next day, as soon as it began to grow dusk, he went to the tower and cried, "Oh, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And she let down her hair, and the king's son climbed up by it. Welcome back, John. Welcome back. We're just doing some story time. She let down her hair, and the king's son climbed up by it. Rapunzel was greatly terrified when she saw that a man had come into her, for she had never seen one before. But the king's son began speaking so kindly to her, and told her how her singing had entered his heart, so that he could have no peace until he had seen her for who she really was. Then Rapunzel forgot her terror in that moment, and when he asked her to take him for her husband, she saw that he was young and beautiful, and she thought to herself, "I certainly like him much better than old Mother Gothel," and she put her hand to his. She said, "I would willingly go with thee, but I do not know how I shall get out when thou comest. Bring each time a silken rope, and I will make a ladder. When it is quite ready, I will get down by it out of the tower, and thou shalt take me away on thy horse." They agreed that he should come to her every evening, as the old woman came in the daytime. So the witch knew nothing of this, until once Rapunzel said to her unwittingly, "Mother Gothel, how is it that you climb up here so slowly, and the king's son is with me in a moment?" Oops. Rapunzel. Shh. "Oh, wicked child," cried the witch, "what is this I hear? I thought I had hidden thee from all the world, and thou hast betrayed me." In her anger, she seized Rapunzel by her beautiful hair, struck her several times with her left, of course, the left hand. Gotta demonize that as much as possible. And then, grasping a pair of shears in her right, snip, snip, snip. The beautiful locks lay on the ground, and she was so hard-hearted that she took Rapunzel and put her in a waste and desert place, where she lived in great woe and misery. This is the first time I've actually read the story. I've seen a lot of other adaptations. The same day on which she took Rapunzel away, she went back to the tower in the evening and made fast the several locks of hair to the window hasp, and the king's son came and cried, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." She then let the hair down, and the king's son climbed up. But instead of his dearest Rapunzel, he found the witch looking at him with wicked, glittering eyes. "Aha!" cried she, mocking him. "You came for your darling, but the sweet bird sits no longer in this nest, and sings no more. The cat has got her, and will scratch out your eyes. Rapunzel is lost to you, and you will see her no more." The king's son was beside himself with grief, and in his agony he sprang from the tower. He escaped with his life, but the thorns on which he fell put out his eyes. Ooh. This is almost as tragic as Romeo and Juliet, but with half the cooking time. Then he wandered blind through the wood, eating nothing but roots and berries, and doing nothing but lament and weep for the loss of his dearest wife. So he wandered for several years in misery until he came to the desert place where Rapunzel had lived with her twin children that she had born. Ooh, somebody was getting busy with the prince. Wink. A boy and a girl. At first he heard a voice that he thought he knew. When he reached the place from which it seemed to come, Rapunzel knew him and fell on his neck and wept. And when her tears touched his eyes, they became clear again. Oh, that's sweet. And he could see with them as well as ever. Then he took her to his kingdom, where he was received with great joy. And there they lived long and happily. Well, that's a happy ending, but now I'm like, wait, there's children? There's babies? I like babies. I would cuddle them anytime. I wonder if the witch even knew she was pregnant. I mean, she would have to, right? Unless she was just totally not paying attention. You know, then that, I don't know. That'd be a little weird.
Why, hello.
Welcome in, welcome in. We're just doing a little bit of story time right now. How are you? How are you doing, Mimic? How was your evening tonight? I hope you are doing amazing. I'm Tiffy Weefy. I am now your tiefling mom, and I'm also part dragon and vampire mom sometimes. Welcome in. We are just reading a little bit of Brothers Grimm. Just a little bit. I decided to put this on Random Story next to see what we get. So there's one called Gambling Hansel. I wonder if this is related to Hansel and Gretel. Maybe. Stay warm, John. That's cold. Put some warm pants on. It's not shorts weather. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a man who did nothing but gamble. And for that reason, people never called him anything but Gambling Hansel. And he never ceased to gamble. He played away his house and all he had. Now the very day before his creditors were to take his house from him, came the Lord and St. Peter and asked him to give them shelter for the night. Then Gambling Hansel said, "For my part, you may stay the night, but I cannot give you a bed or anything to eat." So the Lord said he was just to take them in, and they said to themselves, would buy something to eat, which Gambling Hansel made no objection. Thereupon St. Peter gave him 3 groschen and said he was to go to the baker's and fetch some bread. Oh no. Hansel, please don't gamble with St. Peter's money, please. So Gambling Hansel went, but when he reached the house where the other gambling vagabonds were gathered, they, although they had won all that he had, greeted him clamorously and said, "Hansel, do come in." "Oh," said he, "do you want to win the 3 groschen too?" On this they would not let him go. Oh no. Okay, so he went in and played away the 3 groschen also. Oh no. No gambling, little monsters. No. Meanwhile, St. Peter and the Lord were waiting. And he was so long in coming that they set out to meet him. When Gambling Hansel came, however, he pretended that the money had fallen into the gutter and kept raking about in a place all the while trying to find it. My dude, do you really think you can lie to St. Peter? And, okay, this is probably not gonna go well for you. But our Lord already knew that he had lost it in play. St. Peter again gave him more money, and now he did not allow himself to be led away once more, but fetched them the loaf. Well, that's kind of them, and that's what you'd expect those saintly figures to do, wouldn't you? Our Lord then inquired if he had no wine, and he said, "Ah, sir, the casks are all empty." But the Lord said he was to go down into the cellar, for the best wine was still there. I was thinking he was going to ask for some barrels of water next. For a long time he would not believe this, but at length he said, "Well, I will go down, but I know there is none there." When he turned the tap, however, lo and behold, the best of wine ran out. So he took it to them, and the two passed the night there. Early the next day, our Lord told Gambling Hansel that he might beg 3 favors. The Lord expected that he would ask to go to heaven, but Gambling Hansel asked for a pack of cards with which he could win everything, for dice with which he could win everything, and for a tree whereon every kind of fruit would grow, and from which no one who had climbed up could descend until he bade them do so. Okay. Priorities. Priorities? Certainly. The Lord gave him all that he had asked, and departed with St. Peter. And now Gambling Hansel at once set about gambling in real earnest, and before long he had gained half the world. Upon this St. Peter said to the Lord, "Lord, this thing must not go on. He will win, and thou lose the whole world. We must send death to him." Uh-oh. When death appeared, Gambling Hansel just seated himself at the gambling table, and death said, "Hansel, come out a while." But Gambling Hansel said, "Just wait a little until the game is done, and in the meantime, get up into that tree out there and gather a little fruit that we may have something to munch on our way." Okay. I'm changing into my wolf form. Oh, cute. Give the moon a nice big howl for me. Thereupon Death climbed up, but when he wanted to come down, he could not, and Gambling Hansel left him up there for 7 years, during which time no one died. Wow. Because yes, as long as you gamble responsibly and you have like a way to get out of it when you're done, like that's the main thing. If you're gonna gamble, just make sure you have a stop button, so that it's like you can pull yourself out of it when you're finished and be like, okay, that's done. I'm not gonna spend like too much or whatever. So St. Peter said to the Lord, "Lord, this this thing must not go on. People no longer die. We must go ourselves. And they went themselves, and the Lord commanded Hansel to let death come down. Why doesn't he just do it himself? He doesn't need Hansel to do it. He could just go, "Kid, down here." So Hansel went down to Death and said to him, "Come down." And Death took him directly and put an end to him. They went away together and came to the next world, and then gambling Hansel made straight for the door of heaven and knocked at it. "Who's there?" Death was tired of his stuff, yes. Who's there? I'm gonna pretend that's like Archangel Michael or something, because that would be funny. And he says, gambling Hansel, "We will have nothing to do with him. Be gone." So he went to the door of purgatory and knocked once more. "Who is there?" I don't know who that would be answering that. Gambling Hansel, he said, "There is quite enough weeping and wailing here without him. We do not want anything to do with him. We do not want any gambling. Just go away again." Then he went to the door of hell, and there they let him in. Uh-oh. There was, however, no one at home but old Lucifer and the crooked devils who had just been doing their evil work in the world. Oh boy. And no sooner was Hansel there than he sat down to gamble again. Bro. Lucifer, however, had nothing to lose but his misshapen devils and gambling cards. And Hansel won them from him, as with his cards he could not fail to do so. And now he was off again with his crooked devils, and they went to a town and pulled up a hop pole, and with it went to heaven, and began to thrust the pole against it, and heaven began to crack. What? Now, do you really think anyone in heaven would just be like, "Sure, bro"? So again, St. Peter said, "Lord, this thing cannot go on. We must let him in, or he will throw us down from heaven." What? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. This is the only time I would be like, "Jesus Christ, you can send him away." Literally. And they let him in, but gambling Hansel instantly began to play again. You know what? Dude, if I can just get into heaven, because I just don't know when to leave God alone, what is the whole point of doing anything like goodly if I can just harass people? This is bonkers. And there was such a noise and confusion that there was no hearing what they themselves were saying. Therefore, St. Peter once more said, "Lord, this cannot go on. We must throw him down, or he will make heaven rebellious." So they went to him at once and threw him down, and his soul broke into fragments and went into the gambling vagabonds who are living to this very day. Oh my goodness! What? Bro. That's something else. What? That's crazy. Okay, I think that's a good bit of story time. That is wild, bro. That is wild. What? That makes no sense. I know, right? They literally had to have an intervention, like, bro, stop. Stop doing that. That was an interesting story. Moral of the story, don't be like that gambling man. Yeah, same. I'm just like, what? Why is this happening? Yeah, I think so too. That's like tall tale territory, obviously. Hydration. That one was like very weird.